Thank you for checking out crypto.chartguys.com, the source for technical analysis in the cryptocurrency world. We are proud to announce our own crypto alert system designed to give you the most critical technical trading information possible no matter where you are. Keep your eyes on the market with mobile or email alerts for MACD crosses, RSI levels, and even inside bar alerts for dozens of coins across multiple exchanges. New features and proprietary ChartGuys indicators are already in development. Our alert system is very easy to customize and utilize, so don't hesitate to sign up for the most effective crypto trading tool on the market at crypto.chartguys.com. Everyone, forgot to mention it in the video here. We're going to do another course giveaway, so if you comment on the recorded YouTube version of the video, we will pick a random winner and give you that free course. Thanks for watching. Hello everyone, hope you're having a good weekend. So checking in, we're going to be looking at Ethereum first because it is the lead bull very clearly, and it's testing a key resistance right now of 1350, and it will likely either break or reject by the time this video gets out there. But Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ripple, and we're going to look at BNB, which is gaining a lot of attention, and definitely they had that headline with almost 300,000 people joining in an hour. That's of course because they opened things back up to join, but an impressive number nonetheless. And got to give a shout out to members who were all over BNB and that exchange back in December when it first launched. So a lot of people were on the money in terms of looking at that fundamentally. So checking in on Ethereum, in the past videos that I've been doing, I've been saying, we could pull all the way back to 900 and still be extremely strong on the daily time frame because of the magnitude of the breakout that we saw. We haven't established a clear high or low anywhere nearby. Well, now we have, and that low right here is 1084 essentially, rounding a bit. And this is a bull flag. This is very short-term healthy consolidation, and the bulls are following through, and it's a continuation pattern where if we get a new all-time high, obviously the bulls are back in full control, and our target's going to be 1500 in the short term, as it does look like the bulls are beelining it towards that all-time high. So one thing that I want to point out, just watching the order book, you can gain clues in terms of this strength, and this has been happening for weeks, where if you're watching the order book on Bitcoin, and I go over this in the course in depth in terms of how to read the order book and how to use it in your trading strategy, but what you'll see on Bitcoin is these bots, and as they're running the price up, every time resistance on the ask gets bought, the price instantly goes to that level with the top bid, and you can see it fills up with maybe 15 BTC, and then the more ask gets bought, and then instantly to the top of the bid another 15 BTC. And it gets to a point where we reach a level where the bears do the exact same, and we hit a point, and then you see the bears start to stack the ask. And once that starts happening, the bulls, they disappear. The bots react to reading that there are bear bots around, and they disappear, and then we quickly pull back as some people sell into the bid at market order. What ETH is doing is different, and we see the bids get run up, and we see the bots at the top bid, and then when we see the bears try and stop them and start to accumulate on a top ask, we don't see the buy bids disappear. They stay. And we don't see people selling market orders into the bid. So the buy bots just sit there, and then the sell bots sit there for a while at a bit of a stalemate until the buy bots are either bought into, the sell bots on the ask are either bought into and we move on up, or they disappear because they realize nobody's selling and we're just sitting here. So it's very interesting to watch the different interactions with how these trading algos are interacting. But one thing is for sure, ETH is a much more bullish environment on the order book than any of these other names. And obviously it's the lead bull because of the lack of resistance. We have two resistance levels, 1350 and the all-time high, before we're in blue sky breakout mode again. So I am currently in Ethereum, got in earlier this morning, seeing that strength. There was also some signals here on the shorter term time frames, and I talk about using the exponential moving averages, the 12 and the 26. And that is because that is what is on GDAX by default. That is the moving averages that are on that chart. And I do believe that that does play a factor in the sense that everybody is forced to look at this indicator or these moving averages. And that is definitely a factor because I see it come into play time and time again where we either reject from that resistance or we bounce off that support. So just briefly looking at the hourly time frame, look at the loss of this support after the all-time high. We lost this support. We saw a bearish cross. When these moving averages cross each other, we can get signals there as well. So we got the bear cross. From there, it was lower highs and lower lows. And then look at where the bulls took over. We formed our higher low, and as soon as we got that higher high, it was accompanied by this bullish cross of these EMAs. So the 12 crosses the 26 to the upside, and then look at the consolidation bouncing off this support. On the way down, look at the rejections. We rejected from the 12 period, we rejected from the 26 period. So I use these moving averages. I'll never make a decision specifically based off of them, but they do factor into my analysis. And when they are as support, it's definitely a more bullish, comfortable scenario. So I look at those on the hourly time frame the most on all of these coins. So the 4-hour time frame, I would like to see a little bit more consolidation here to be comfortable, just in terms of having a clear higher low established on the 4-hour time frame. We're not overbought. We did have the bullish MACD cross follow through. It's just been a lot of green in a row, which the bulls are certainly enjoying. But if you are making entries up at these levels, there's not any really clear supports nearby on this 4-hour time frame. So a little bit of uncomfortability in that sense. But if you look at the hourly, you can get down and get some support levels here. We had a little consolidation, another little bull flag here that's fairly similar to the daily chart. That's at 1311.77. And then, of course, we got 1300 psychological, and then 1267 is a key level. With how we are trading on these coins here, we're not seeing a huge amount of volatility in terms of, obviously we did with the FUD, but I'm talking about volatility for the bulls where we explode, 10% in a couple minutes, which we used to see, and that hasn't happened in a long time. The point is, with the stop loss levels, I would be using longer term time frames. So if you're looking at a chart like Ethereum, specifically Ethereum because it's so much more bullish, you want to be zooming out to longer term time frames to use your stop loss levels, because you don't want to get stopped out on a 15-minute loss right here. So if I were looking at the 15-minute time frame, this would have been a stop out from the higher lows breaking, and then of course the bulls just turn right around. If you're in Ethereum in a chart that's extremely bullish and pushing all-time highs, I would be using the hourly at a bare minimum in terms of shortest time frame, 1311.77, but really the 4-hour time frame. And again, that's why I'm a little uncomfortable without a clear level to be using on the 4-hour time frame. But the bottom line is, don't stay short-sighted because we're so bullish here. We want to zoom out and say, okay, if we're bullish on the daily, we're bullish on every time frame. So I want to give a lot more wiggle room. And if requiring to give that lot of wiggle room requires smaller positions to have less risk, then that's fine as well. Play a half position and be a lot more comfortable and put a stop loss $100 away and don't worry about it and let it run up. So Ethereum's all bull. I'm looking for an all-time high. If we don't get one, we'll be looking at the potential of a cup and handle pattern here on the 4-hour time frame. So if we don't get an all-time high today and we start to pull back and consolidate, we'll look for a handle of consolidation if it remains healthy without any significant bear volume, and we will be watching for continuation if we can get over this 1350 level. So that's where my attention is today. Bitcoin's holding up as well. We did have that 4-hour equilibrium pattern break bullish. We have the key daily chart. In order for the daily chart to give bulls confidence, we need a higher low and a higher high from here. So we're seeing a bounce attempt, and it's nothing special at this point. And I don't have volume on my charts. Not sure where that indicator went, but obviously you want to have volume. So we have the 4-hour time frame giving us the equilibrium bull break right here. We had our, let's just go over it real quick. We had the low of the pullback, the high of the bounce. We had our higher low just barely held. It looked like we were going to dump down. Everybody thought we were going to dump down. Then, as the support held and more articles come out that the FUD really was, not based in fact and was fear-based, we had support hold. The bulls came up. We had a lower high form. We had a higher low form. The range got really tight. The bull break of the 4-hour equilibrium occurred at 1480, and the bulls have been in control since. We just had a 4-hour inside bar break bullish, and we're looking up at the key resistance, which was the top right before the FUD hit, 14,970. When everything was looking fine for the daily chart before FUD, that's where we were. So if we can get back above that level, that will be a great sign for the bulls on this daily time frame. Keep in mind the daily higher low was not lost as well. So while all the FUD was going on, it looked like things were extremely bearish, and definitely wanted to be cash. I was cash at that point to be protective and to allow myself the possibility to get into an oversold bounce. But we had support here, 12,500. That held as a higher low, and now the bulls are recovering a bit. That being said, this isn't, the bulls are not in the clear in terms of having it be easy street right now like it is with Ethereum. We still have to see a higher low and a higher high, because it is possible if we reject it and can't break 14,970 and we head back down, there is a possibility that the daily higher low pattern could be lost. So as of right now, the bulls are comfortable because it's a lot of room until we would get a clear bear break all the way down at 12,800. But we're not comfortable in terms of very confident that this daily chart is going to be back in the bulls' favor. Litecoin was a laggard play. Let's look at Litecoin on the daily. So here's the same pattern where we have our low and the bulls are bouncing and we formed a higher low, although we did break a support level here. So again, it's a bit tricky. The FUD ruined this daily chart from being a really good setup. We have the bounce attempt following through, but what the laggard situation was, if you look at the equilibrium pattern on the 4-hour here, where we have our low, our high of the bounce, our higher low that just barely held support, and we did get a higher high here just barely. It wasn't a convincing break. It was a break by less than $1, about less than 60 cents. So that was what I would consider a double top if it's less than $1. But we did get the bull break here, and that bull break happened, and that happened about 3 candlesticks ago on the 4-hour time frame. Meanwhile, the bull break happened 4 candlesticks ago on Bitcoin. So I posted that in the chat room where I said, these equilibrium patterns are the same, but one of them is going to break first, and we can look at the other one to be a laggard once that does happen. So inside bar on the 4-hour time frame, breaking bullish as well on Litecoin, and the top of the bounce, or the top of the move before the FUD hit that we are looking at for Litecoin is 253.42. And that's the resistance level for both Bitcoin and Litecoin where we stand right now, the top of where we hit before the FUD hit. So that's what we're looking at. Litecoin, again, higher lows on the hourly time frame. It's a little bit more contained on Bitcoin and Litecoin than it is on Ethereum in terms of clear support levels. So on the hourly for Litecoin, 242 and 236.50 are important supports. Bitcoin hourly supports are 14,111 and 13,975. Those are a couple key levels I would be looking at. So bulls are out everywhere, but clearly Ethereum is the lead bull. And there is a scenario that we have seen in the past that could play out again, where if Ethereum gets an all-time high, we could see a short-term sell-off in Bitcoin and Litecoin as traders jump into Ethereum in blue sky breakout. Checking into Ripple, and again, fundamentals aside, I don't care about the fundamentals of Ripple at this point. I'm looking at it because there's a lot of attention on it. There's a lot of volume and liquidity, and it's good for trading. That's all that I care about in this scenario. So we have been consolidating on the daily time frame after a breakout. We had that one day that we highlighted with the news coming out in terms of bullish partnership with MGI, but that has faded, and we're pulling back and consolidating from there. We're looking for a higher low now on the daily time frame, but we just had an inside bar bear break on the daily, so that tells me be cautious. I'm in no rush to get into a position here. I've been very short-term trading it on that news because there was a lot of volatility, but in terms of looking for a longer-term entry, I'm being patient here to see if the bulls can form a higher low on the daily, and I'm looking at XRP BTC here, but the higher low on the daily, let's actually go to USD just to have it a bit easier for people. And we haven't broken bearish on the inside bar on the daily time frame for the US dollar, so that tells me that the Bitcoin strength has led to the bear break on the XRP BTC chart. So the inside bar range here is 180, and I'm rounding a little bit, 180 to 215. And we're currently still within that range, and that's going to be a nice clear break. Look at the 4-hour time frame giving us an equilibrium pattern, and I know that without looking because the daily chart is inside bars. So we've got our high of 225. We've got our low of consolidation down here at 178. Lower high was 215. Higher low is 193. Lower high, you can see we're just getting very tight, and a clear break is coming on the 4-hour time frame sometime before, I would say within the next 16 hours, we're going to see a clear break. And patiently waiting, if you're not in a position, you can either be making a position and put a stop loss below the higher low on the 4-hour, or you wait for the bull break. So checking in on BNB USDT. This is the daily chart. This is a perfect daily chart of just establishing support levels on the way up and being nice, slow, and steady, and being confident because these support levels are established. We're not just shooting up and running away without support levels being built. So our most recent support is 1366, and here we are up at the all-time high, 2518. So this has just been a very bullish chart. We have tons of users coming onto Binance. They had to shut it down until they could, get more room for people. Certainly know what that's like as we have our membership capped. There's a lot of hype and space in this cryptocurrency world, and it is hard for services and companies to keep up. So On BNB, we have a tight pattern on the 4-hour time frame. You can see we have a couple higher lows and lower highs. The bulls want to break 2367 to be going back to the all-time high. And we have support down here at 2104. As far as these exchanges go, a lot of people going to Binance, I cannot stress enough how insufficient these exchanges are for traders. For people coming from the stock market world, these are like bare bones. The fact that I can't place 2 orders on GDAX to place a stop loss and then a sell target is really limiting. And I mean, I could go down a whole list of features that we should have as traders. And I'm really astounded that it's taking so long. I mean, at this point, some of these big boys should have had development for over 6 months. I mean, I guess I'm not a developer, so I don't know how long it takes. But at some point in the near future, we are going to have new exchanges that are going to blow these ones away, in my opinion, in terms of, having money that is going to create the system. Because essentially what I want to see is give me an exchange that is exactly what Fidelity does for stocks. Give me that for crypto. And it's going to allow us the tools to be better traders, because we are at a disadvantage comparatively at this point in time because the space is so new. So that will change, and that will be a benefit to traders, and it will also make things easier for people joining the space. So that's where we stand as we head into tonight. All attention on Ethereum, and 1350 still hasn't broken a big amount of resistance on that ask. Again, got some questions about that mention of the volume indicators that we have coming. We have a couple different volume indicators on the alert system coming, but that's not coming until this coming week or the following week. Sometime before the end of January, that will be out, and that will be added. If you are currently a premium member, you will have access to that. So I appreciate you all watching. We'll check back in shortly, and let's see if Ethereum can get that all-time high.